Good afternoon, Junior Mayor of the city of Joburg.
Good afternoon, sir. It really is an honor to be on.
How are you, Kamogelo Malikane? Junior Mayor Kamogelo Malikane.
Yeah, I'm really well. It's such an honor to be at this event. It's amazing.
So, before we even go to the event itself, how does one become a junior mayor of Joburg? Because this is such a beautiful, big city in Africa.
I would definitely say my journey in becoming the junior mayor has really been focused on my just relationship with different aspects of Joburg, the different communities, because I spent a very big period of my upbringing in my childhood in Diepkloof, in Naturena. I lived in Foyes for quite a long time. So I was able to understand the things that make us special as South Africans from a very young age. And I think that rise came from being able to understand that communities are very different. And in having those differences, there are things we can do to bring them forward, and understanding that your title and what you can do as a person will always be enough to do and really have that change and impact on your community. It doesn't matter about the size. So I really just focused on what I can do for my own communities, what I can do to help, and didn't focus on the size of what I was doing, but rather the impact, how many people I was able to connect with. And I really think that got me my title, and that's what I am going to continue doing.
Does the leadership role start at school or does it start in the public? How do people recognize that Kamogelo is actually a good leader?
I really think it starts behind doors, actually. Being able to understand that I'm somebody who's different. I am not made to be like everyone else, and so I'm going to hone in on my talents, my abilities, the things that make me who I am, to try and encourage people who are similar to move forward. That's everything before the public eye. And then in the public eye, it's about just being as positive as possible, as forefront as possible, to just show people that you are capable of leading them, and that they are two people who will bring everyone forward. And being a leader doesn't mean you're the only one in charge. And that's often the understanding we have of what it means to be a leader, that you're the person who's meant to make every decision and nobody can challenge your authority. So I really think my understanding of leadership has just been both behind doors and understanding who I am as a person, and then understanding that I need to have the courage to be that person in public and showing other people that you have a space to do so too.
Wow, Kamogelo, I'm now intimidated. I'm talking to the junior mayor of Joburg, but he's sounding more mature than I imagined. He's way above. I don't think you're a normal person, but it's okay. I'll continue talking to you. What does this day mean to you, the International Day of the Boy Child?
I would definitely say this day spells change. Change specifically around the narrative that is shared about masculinity, and masculinity in a South African context specifically. Because when you think of the word man as a South African, you think, especially as a South African woman, you think of a rapist, an abuser, and understanding that it starts from the ground up in building strong, positive men who can contribute to their communities means understanding that raising those men doesn't just come with showing them what not to do. Don't do these things. Don't be a rapist. Don't call women these things. Don't be inappropriate. It comes.
Don't be a bully.
Don't be a bully. Exactly. It comes from being able to understand that having that respect from a very young age is something that will always set you up for better later on. And being able to understand that I'm not just representing the people behind me, I'm representing myself. And that's really something that I think this event has really just spelled out for me. So, change in regards to the narrative we have about masculinity as South Africans, and what young children are learning on a daily basis beyond the classroom, beyond what you speak to your teachers about, but the dialogue that happens amongst each other as men.
You sound like you've been privileged to get to know about these things at an early age. But for other people out there that might not meet the junior mayor of Joburg, that might not get this message, how do you think we can change the narrative?
The first thing we can do to change the narrative is tell the boy who has just entered a new environment that the need to fit in isn't always as big as it seems. You don't need to be the rugby player that everyone loves. You don't need to be the best superstar sportsman, whatever it is. You just need to be yourself And part of that will always enable you to be able to pick out what's wrong within your environment. Because it's as soon as you stick out for something that you're able to see that, no, wait, I am placed in this position for a reason. I'm not meant to be a person who just assimilates naturally. And then you're able to hold your mates accountable when it comes to things like reshaping what masculinity should look like positively, how you treat women away from the dialogues you have amongst women, what we speak about as men and how we treat those women and what we think of is something you would always be able to change when you are able to instill in those young people, look, it really starts with me and what I can do before it's about what I look like to people and who I am to other people.
Are you already playing that role? Because you sound like you are used to saying these things in public spaces. And I mean, if that's what you're already doing, where do you do it and how do people access the information that you have?
Really, it starts with dialogue, to be honest with you. When you are engaging in a conversation with your friends, your peers, and it's a very controversial conversation, always be aware that before you're a man, before you're a woman, you're an individual. And that boundary of respect always has to be there. And as soon as you partake in that kind of conversation and you are continually telling yourself, I need to assimilate, I need to be seen as one of the boys, you start losing your individuality and you don't see who you are beyond just that group. So being able to take a stand and say, you shouldn't be speaking about women this way, and personalizing it and say, what if that was your mother that they were talking about? What if that was your aunt? Is really how you get to the mind of a young man and really think, would I be okay if my mother was spoken about in this way? So it doesn't require a lot in terms of resources to be able to change that narrative. All you need to do is to be able to stand firm and being able to stand firm for what is right, irrespective of what happens, because that's something you're going to have to deal with by yourself at the end of the day, that consciousness when you're away from the gaze of everyone else.
Wow. Junior Mayor of Joburg, Kamogelo Malikane, I would love to meet you again and, have a proper conversation with you. You sound way too intelligent for your age.
Absolutely, sir. It really was an honor speaking to you, and I can't express how grateful I am to have met you. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.